Well, guys, this is going to be a tough one. You know, coming after the singers, you were dancing, you were clapping your hands. And now I'm going to talk about research powering the powerhouse number. So it might be a bit difficult. So, Nick, what I might do, because I speak French, I'm not from French, Belgium, I will speak with my very thick accent that should, smooth the audience over. And if nothing works, the Eurovision is coming up soon, right? Swedes are very good at it with ABBA. Belgian, we won it once, so I might sing a song or two, maybe the Belgian national anthem. But let's start with some research, and I do hope I can schmooze you over. Right, so the Quinyx, the purpose of Quinyx, what is our purpose? Like you understood today, we are a pretty happy bunch. We like to sing, we like to dance. We do live in Sugar House, or maybe not, but we have a greater purpose. We are obsessed by making the workforce happier peers. Just like Mark has talked about, I think Samantha talked about it today, Emma will talk about it as well. We're really obsessed with it because we know that a happier workforce is also a more productive workforce, and that has effect on the economy, has effect on the productivity gap, and can really uplift everything. So about happier workforce and flexibility. So we are here, white-collar workforce. We will consider white-collar workforce, so we mostly have non-shift work. We work 9 to 5. Sometimes we can come to work early, sometimes we can leave earlier from work. We come later, we leave later. It's up to us. But there is another side of the workforce, or many other sides. We have the blue-collar workforce. They've been seen sometimes as quite a pejorative term, so, blue collars equal people working shift. We have the pink collar now, that will be the people working in the hospitality industry. Those people are the life and blood of our economy. Those are the people that will serve us the coffee in the morning, keep us caffeinated after a long night out. They are the people that will help us at the hospital and keep our hospital running. They are the people that just keep on going and keep driving this economy. But yet, they are the same group that until now have not reaped the benefit of flexibility. And that's quite an issue, because most likely they will be the people that will be quite unhappy. So now if you have a store, a retail store, and you have an unhappy worker, that will really greatly impact your business, your footfall, the happiness of your customer. And if a customer is not very well treated, well, they might never come back. So they're really the lifeblood of our economy. Another thing that we know, and that's because at Quinyx we're quite lucky, we speak to a lot of people, we speak to a lot of businesses. Obviously, we try to sell a solution, but we also speak to people in the healthcare business. We speak in people in hospitality, in retail, in logistics. And one of the common denominator that we have here, and that we keep on hearing, is that for today's business, times are really tough. Now, you could blame it on Brexit, and that would be an easy thing. But, soon there will maybe be another recession or something else to blame it on. So it's really difficult to blame it on anything. There's political instability, always on-demand, consumer demand. So there are many things coming into place. And it's very difficult for businesses to either decide to make their workforce happy and invest a bit more in their workforce when they are dying for footfall into their stores and to bring people through the stores. So while business are tough, it's also tough for workers. But why should you believe a 5'2" little girl that speaks French and barely speaks English? Well, it's because we did a research based on quite a lot of data. So one of the data sources was the ONS with the labor force survey that we did quarterly. The other one was the annual survey of hours and earning, and an employer sentiment research where we went around and we polled 1,008 workers, so mainly business leaders that hire blue collars. If you want any more data about this research, into your goodie bag you will find the different research that we have, so you always go in there. So let's start by first talking who are the blue workers and what they look like. So they are mostly male, 67% male, 33% female. They mostly work shift pattern, and that's not a surprise because they are in shift working. 32 compared to 18% of the whole workforce and whole population. 18% of them have a degree, university degree, compared to 35% nationally. And 40% hold a trade-related degree or vocational alternative degree. What we also see is that the average tenure of blue worker in your workforce is 5.6 years. That's actually higher in the UK than any other country across Europe. We also see that there is some difference. So if you look at healthcare, and Mark talked about pride earlier, healthcare, NHS, they're very proud to work for the NHS. So they will stay longer. If you look at hospitality, that's mainly 1.9 years. So it's really low retention, high churn, people bouncing from one job to another. Also, another thing that we saw, and that's a quite big number, is this 37% right there in the middle. And that's the average in percentage of shift workers that are hired within a business that still need upskilling. So you hire people in your business, if you're a retailer or if you're in hospitality, logistic, and they still need upscaling. But if you compare that to the 1.9 years that they will stay in your business, do you really invest the time in training them properly? And the answer is mostly not. So that results, at the end of the day, in impact of lack of skill in shift worker. There's impact on other shift worker. So for example, if somebody is not trained enough, that will result in 46% in increased workload for other staff within the organization. And in turn, 32% difficulties in meeting required quality of standard. So if you look at a restaurant, well, the food might not be cooked properly, or the dishes might be a bit cold. If you look at healthcare, that's a bit harder. You know, somebody doesn't get treated well, well, then there is a real issue with patient. So that's something that is really affecting us at the moment. Another thing that we did is polling 1,008 industry members, like I said. Half of them, actually, of UK employers with blue-collar workforce say they struggle to retain and attract blue-collar workforce. And that's mainly because of a staff shortage. There is staff shortage all around the world at the moment, in most Western world, and it's also affecting the UK, Brexit or not. And that, in turn, results in a 9% dip in business growth, and a 10% dip in productivity. That's the effect of it. One of the solutions will be to increase flexibility. At the moment, only 21% of all blue workers say that they actually enjoy flexibility, compared to 71% who say they don't have the option and they don't have flexibility. At the same time, 86% of all employers will tell you, well, yeah, flexibility is very important, with 28% thinking it's actually very, very important. Yet, not enough people are doing enough flexibility. Another thing that we found as one of the key findings of the research is this huge number, 22 billion. Nick spoke about 20 billion, and that's the staff shortage that the UK could see in terms of loss by 2024 if they keep at the rate that they're going. So we saw that the productivity is stagnating at the moment, and every year this pool of money will keep increasing if there is not a change, and if productivity doesn't increase. Another thing, Brexit versus Flexit. One of the things that we could do, if whether or not we leave the EU, is increase flexibility in order to reduce churn, attract more people, and retain them. And that will add 7.6 billion every year to the UK economy. So what can be done? There is a lot of hypotheses on what can be done. We heard a lot about it today. We know that for business, times are tough, like we said earlier. So it's really about every day trying to do the small thing and trying to implement small steps in order to increase this flexibility and happiness at work. So create and communicate career opportunities. Communicate in general, like Mark said about John Lewis, extremely important. Be flexible. One of the things that we know is that flexible is not the same for two persons. So somebody with a small child will don't need the same flexibility as a millennial arriving to work, or even worse, a Gen Z. So really about the business, thinking about what they need and what the staff need. About flexibility, like I say, it's not one size fits all. And so really look at your demographic. One of the things that we have created at Quinyx and that we're very proud about is our flexibility charter. So the flexibility charter is actually a charter that any organization can sign and be part of to try to promote flexibility within the organization. This can be any small step, like I said, increasing break, letting people choose their shift depending on the time that they would like to work. And they can go on our website, which is quinyx.com/flexcharter, and enter what they will do for the organization. This, in turn, will be released in the press. They will get a logo, and we will help support that.